Everyone, good evening here to the Eindhoven Innovation Café. Hi to everybody watching online as well. For those of you who haven't been here before, we are a weekly networking event where we offer presentations on the subjects of technology and or design. Tonight we warmly welcome Tom and Olivier from Team Ignite, one of the student teams at the TU Eindhoven, talking about art, light and technology. Afterwards, we'll have the opportunity to have drinks to further discuss the conversation, but feel free to ask questions while you're here now. And after the drinks, we can also have dinner, but I will tell you more about that later. But first, enjoy the talk.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nu. Hey, everyone. So we were just introduced. Thank you. So this is Olivier. I'm Tom. We're from Team Ignite. And we are the first art and tech student team of the TUE, and Olivier will tell you more about that in a moment. What we do, I think it's better to tell in a moment as well. So first start about this. What we're going to do is we give you a short presentation, introduce a topic, and then hopefully you will have something to tell us as well afterwards when we have some questions. Also do feel free to ask questions to us, because that'd be great. This is a picture of, I hope you all have seen it. It's Eindhoven, and we think it's a really cool picture, first of all, because we have actually been staring to it for quite some time. But also we pictured Eindhoven over here because we wanted to tell something about Eindhoven, like it's really an innovative region. We have the TUE, we have a lot of innovating students over there, and we think that they already have like a great mindset. So they can solve problems, they come up with new ideas, and we as a Brainport region, we invent a lot, but we think we can add something else. When we were discussing this talk, so what we were planning on telling you guys, we came up with a question: why do we combine art and tech in a student team? Because first of all, we thought it would be logic. We had light design, we think that's nice. But then we actually were like, what is really the value in that? So we started really thinking about that. We connected it to our vision. And what we really think is that we should combine art and tech because of the creativity. Well, you have creativity in art. I think that's self-explanatory. But we think it can also be really impactful when you implement it with technical things. So if you really combine that, which we do with light design, then we can come to something. And we are the TUE Student Light Design Studio, which is how we present ourselves. And what we do is we come up with evenings where we sit together, we work together, we create things. For example, our planes, which we are both working on in our group, and we think are really nice. And what we try to do together is really combine the art and the tech to inspire creativity, not only in art, but also in technological developments.
So that's Team Ignite.
You have to press the button thingy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we're from Team Ignite. We're a student team. We started in September as the first accredited art and tech team of the TUE. So you can know us of Hyper. Hyper is currently a spin-off of our team as the Hyper Light Collective, and they designed this interactive architecture and light installation together with Lucid, the Industrial Design Student Association, together with the Architecture Student Association. And from that, there were a lot of other design projects for the Glow Light Festival. This is one example of 2021 in which we created a ballroom in which the light danced with you. So this was in the Corona period. And this really captured what Team Ignite is trying to continue. We try to combine technology and design and light to create light installations that have an impact, that are innovative, and that have some form of interactivity. And in that way, we try to create projects like these, in which we can connect people, give them a great experience, and develop our own skills as well. So this is an example of these projects of Last Glow. Unplugged, they created an interactive light bulb. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you don't. The idea was to light up the people that visit this. So if you touch the pins, you would light up the light even brighter. And in that way, you can create a nice social cohesion in which people stood around in a circle, talked with each other, talked about Eindhoven, and that was a really nice experience. Another example, Tom already told us, is wayfinding. We did a pilot for Glow to guide the visitors of the festival with the airplanes you can see there. And this is quite a technical installation, as we're really trying to do crowd management, as well as doing it in an aesthetic way. But how do we come there? So the nice thing about our team is that we can provide freedom to the students that join us through the creativity. So we form project teams of a multidisciplinary team of students who can then define their own project, their own learning goals, and also what they add, what skills they can add and learn to other people. And in that way you can create a really nice community. At least that's what we're trying. And then when you have your concept clear, it's time to start prototyping and realizing your project. So here you see two of the teams, Student Heart and Wayfinding, in an assembly line of about 15 people in this case, building their projects for Glow. And then you're at Glow. It's a great vibe. We're constantly trying to improve, but it's a great feat when your light installation is in the park. Thousands of people are visiting it, are interacting with it, and are having a great time with your installation and the experience you've tried to create. But then we also said we want to create impact. Well, how do we do that?
We'll switch mics again. Yeah, nice. So, as I mentioned, we try to combine creativity and technology together. And we do that with quite a big team. We thought maybe we can gather some students, and we had some projects over the years, but then we actually came up with 40 students we have right now.
About, yeah.
Right? And that is our full team right now, and I think the next slide is also nice. Yeah. So this is me. I'm studying electrical engineering, and creativity sounds to me as something that would be far off electrical engineering. So it sounds like more like art, and I didn't think I would actually do something with that. But then I ended up with Team Ignite, and I started actually combining the things. And still, I don't see myself as some person that is really into art or something like that, as in I do tend to appreciate it more and more and more. However, what I really do like is that I can add creativity into my technical skills. Because when you're studying electrical engineering, you are definitely taught a lot and how to solve problems. But we think that there could be a better, well, not say better, but at least you could add more to it if you have a more creative mind. So if you actually combine those kind of things, as we try to do with all of us together, then you could come up with new ideas. You can combine technologies. You can implement them in different ways. You can implement them in society, maybe in a better way. Because if you're only thinking about transistors, that's actually really nice. But if you try to convince people that they have to use them, they have no clue what those are. So you actually want to make something that actually benefits society, that helps society, that fixes the problems of now. And we think that if you add another layer of creativity to that, then you actually have something nice. And all those people think so as well, we hope.
Yeah, and this is also an example where we invited a company to present a problem of theirs, and then we together as a team discuss their problems and discuss possible solutions. And additionally, with the whole team, discussed our own projects. So not everyone is doing the same project at the same time. We have several projects, and in that sense, we try to create a light community in which we can cross-link knowledge between the teams.
Yeah. So, for example, another thing we did, this is also wayfinding. This was the predecessor to the planes that we mentioned. We tried to actually tell people like how do you have to walk through something. We combine actually the light that is in there, because luck with making that we did, and it was really nice. But optimizing it was still a challenge. And we really try to give people something that could actually help them. So, for example, crowd management, but also just wayfinding through a process of sorts. Add something to this or the next thing?
In the scene.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I will. So in the end, then you get an installation like this, like the predecessor of paper trails. And you get a great scene. People are looking at it, people are discovering it and experiencing and being inspired by your installation. And that's the greatest thing. But we haven't yet talked about why we use light. Well, for me this goes back a long time. I was 3 years old when I was sitting in the car with my parents, and I was just staring in the distance in the dark to the tiny lights on the hilltop. Or my parents lost me in the church again, and I was just standing in front of all the candles, looking at the flickering of the light. And it seems there are a lot more people that are fascinated by light. We think it's a great design medium. You can create atmosphere with it. You can evoke emotions and feelings, and just creating that atmosphere and making it interactive. We can create an experience. Aside from sound, you have light as well. And it's a really important thing in our lives. If you close your eyes, what can you do? Not much. And you could develop your other senses more, but light is just really important. And in that way, we try to create experiences, atmospheres in which we can bring people together and let them literally and figuratively see the surroundings, see themselves, a societal problem, or just get connected with some strangers in the park. Thank you so much. Let's go on to the questions and the discussion. Are there any questions?
Because we have some for you.
Otherwise, yeah.
You say you combine light and tech. I mean, is your goal like more towards artistic way of creating impact, or is it like something like you want to make something technological as well? Because I feel like there are both of these elements, but maybe you can.
Yeah. So to sum up your question, the reason we combine art and technology is, as we have seen, we can do a lot with light. And there are a lot of people within the university, but also other schools. Let's take the example for the university, that are doing a real technical study, but want to work on projects that are more hands-on. Or for me, as background with industrial design, finally create a product that will be put out there and be used by people. And in that sense, we are leaning more towards the artistic side, as to create that educative playground where we can be creative. And the technology part is mainly the means to create the impact. So we have technology to make, for example, ballroom, follow the people around so that the light dances with the people, or that it can be interactive. Yeah.
Maybe to also add from my side, I think you're in probably. So I'm doing electrical engineering, definitely like the tech part in it, and I think it's really cool to actually have a contribution to such things. And also, when you make something, it's really nice that you actually see it shine afterwards. So yeah, I think all aspects of it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Can you briefly describe how you start a project? So for instance, the Volvo, which I like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
How do you select the idea to then implement? How is your decision process?
Yeah, so we choose our concepts.
That's okay, yeah.
Yeah, we choose our concepts and not based on a certain process, as we want to leave our project teams to be as freely as possible. But, for example, for Glow, there is an overall theme for the year. So, upcoming year, they just announced it will be the beat, and then the beat will be the theme that you want to play into. But we have these 3 eyes. This is what we base our projects around. So we want to create impact, make it innovative, so we try and create a new thing, a new interaction, or combine old technology in new, innovative way, and create interactivity to put that whole picture of creating social cohesion together. So this is what the criteria are, and then there's an accompanying theme that we go around, as well as maybe with a company case, they provide the context. And then it's up to the team to decide which concept they like the most. So they'll be developing different concepts, discuss it within the team, with themselves, with professionals, and then based on the input they get from that, choose a concept to develop further. Yeah.
How is the team formed that takes these decisions?
The team is formed by applying to our overall team. So we have project teams that can that we set up as the board of the team. So in essence, everybody can join with any background, and just by having multidisciplinary teams, everyone can have their own input. So in essence, they're free to decide what they want to do. Yeah.
And maybe to add to that, sometimes it's a group of people that found each other in their studies. Sometimes it's a challenge that was stated, but it could also be that we have the light nights, so the brainstorm sessions that we have, that people just interact with each other and think, hey, this is really cool, I want to join. And also, sometimes you have people in multiple projects because they really like doing specific parts. So they actually also find each other through Ignite.
But when it's a new project, you first form the team.
Then
you choose what it will be.
It depends. Sometimes we have a company that asks us to do something, then we first have the idea and then we form a team. But it could also be that the team is really enthusiastic about something and brings something in. That happens with the Glow projects most of the times. And then they will just come with the project and ask the group, hey, what do you think are the people that want to join? Yeah, so both ways are possible. Yeah.
How does it?
Sure.
How does your team look like? I mean, like, what is the distribution like? You said like you have people from industrial design, you have like electrical engineers. So maybe ratio.
I'd say the distribution is about 2/3 with design background. That can be psychology, technology, or industrial design, or maybe built environment, or from another, from the design academy, for example, another school. And so, yeah.
Not only TUE students.
Yeah.
So we have students from like 4 educational, 5.
5.
Thank you.
Okay.
Education institutes right now. And then the other 1/3 is a
mixture of different studies, mathematics, electrical engineering, mechatronics, what else? Mechanical engineering. Yeah. And you could say also about 1/3 of the team is international student. Yeah.
For students' teams, we often see that they just repeat the trick that they learned. You can probably flawlessly pull out another Glow project for the upcoming 5 years. Are there any other bigger outcomes, goals, results, outputs that you expect in the coming 5 years?
So to rephrase the question, if there are any bigger goals than developing projects for Glow in the upcoming years, in essence, I would say we are focusing on educating the creative engineer. So giving people the freedom and providing a platform of an educational playground for these students that want to do more than a technical study or want to improve on their creative skills. And I think that is something we would like to grow into, the educative playground in which we can provide a steady platform. We have the knowledge and the professionals that back us up to improve our projects continuously, but also to have a steady community of enthusiastic students that want to create light art.
Yeah, okay, that seems like a pretty visionary, or at least socially based statement, rather than just making a project. So I like that.
Cool, thank you.
Also from September we have grown a lot, because first it was only one project a year for Glow, but then we decided like, hey, we want to make it bigger. We want to give every student the possibility to actually interact with life and to make the things they want. So we have changed a bit, and hopefully towards, well, we've definitely grown with the team, so I think it's going into the right direction. Also regarding the vision, we really want to be able to help students, or like give students a way to combine with creativity and their tech in such a way. So yeah, thanks.
Thanks for the question. Any other questions currently? Otherwise we have one for you. Yeah, go ahead.
You say that you see like it's very beneficial for technical students to do something creative, be more on the artistic side instead of how things work and how things should work and be. Do you think it would be a part of implementing this in the team generally, or do you think that would be beneficial?
So if we could be an integral part of the TV, creating the creative engineer of the future, I think we'll have to see. We are in the picture with the TUE. We're getting great help setting up the team, making it continuous for the next years. But it also depends on the students. Maybe the mindset of the students change. But indeed, the student teams have created or some change within the TUE already. So the TUE has taken up challenge-based learning, and that was based around the student teams who, besides their studies, wanted to do something extra, an extra challenge. So they're taking that up already. But possibly this vision of creating a creative engineer could lead to some changes as well. Yeah.
I can possibly answer your question as well. As a TUE student, I know.
Just join you for the mic.
Hi.
Yeah, hi.
I know that in the TUE, half a year ago, a course piloted that is called Art and Tech, and it focuses on how artistic processes can be applied to create new knowledge in a technical domain. That is piloted, it has been successful, and it's going to stay for the upcoming few semesters at least. So that seems to be a development that the TUE is interested in. Apart from Ignite, by the way.
No. All right. Are we ready for some discussion? We want to ask you and discuss openly, how do you use creativity in your day-to-day life? And for me, this was at first a really difficult question, but we'd like to hear from you first.
Also, maybe to add, we were actually discussing what do we think is creativity, because apparently we had some different ideas about it as well.
Yeah.
But before we tell you what we think, maybe you could, it's yourself? Maybe you could tell us what you think. Does someone say I'm not creative at all, for example, because that's an option? I don't think so ever, but it's an option that you have for the question.
Not creative at all. That's not true, that's not true. I know
That's the creative answer, yeah.
I think creativity can be different. It's from nothing to find, to get an idea and to investigate it. Or, what in my case is more, I have a problem, and how can I solve it? And that I also need creativity, but that's another creativity that an artist who does it from. I think that's my idea.
And then, do you think that an artist doesn't create from a problem?
No, I think from perhaps from a dream or something.
Yeah. I see, great, interesting.
And
For me, creativity is really about starting from nothing and creating something new. So not just redoing something that's already been done, but really like creating something that hasn't been done really before, innovating or doing something could be on the art side, but also I think really creativity is also very important, as you say, technology to really create new ideas and new progress.
So you are creative.
Maybe.
Why did you choose that wording? Why did you not ask how I will create? For me that blocks a bit, that is for me a bit a mental block because I'm not, when I solve a problem, I do not say, I now use creativity to solve this problem.
When you solve a problem, do you just use, do you have like a stack of things you can apply to it and that always works?
I'm not sure. So if creative is for you doing something that is not on the stack of things.
Or combine them, perhaps?
Okay.
But I would then rephrase maybe is even using something from the stack also creative.
Fair, fair.
And unusual, if it's creativity is unusual or doing something new, different, can also be from existing knowledge.
Good point.
So the stack would be the existing knowledge, then,
Could be.
or your personal existing knowledge.
Could be.
Okay, okay.
I think even from an engineering sense or from a scientific sense, like creativity makes sense because, like what you're saying, you can use like things that you already know, which is what they do in research. But then you end up like trying out new ideas or use like the same ideas that you have in a different way, which I mean, like in turn you can use to solve a problem, or which I would say from an engineer's perspective makes sense. Whereas from an artist's perspective, it is just to create something from nothing, like what you were saying.
And then how would you then, okay, let's say an artist gets inspired. Isn't that also what's already existing and creating new ideas on that too?
Yes, I mean like like these days I tend to think that like being creative doesn't mean like you can create from nothing. It is like you just use some sort of like input from something else, maybe something that is widely unrelated to what you're actually doing. Yeah, so something like that.
I like that, cool. Because I see sort of pattern that we all say, well, what I'm seeing is that we can't create from nothing. Do you guys have any reaction on that? Yes, please?
That's hard.
That's
So
hard.
I would say
Okay.
if you do it for someone else,
Yeah.
you're not necessarily an artist, you're maybe a creative person.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
But for me, an artist has no other choice than to create and do it for themselves because they have no other choice.
Okay.
And it's not about others. Yeah. So it could be that others appreciate it or not, but that's not a motivation for an artist. That's for me also the differentiation of this endless debate artist versus design. Yeah. So as a designer, you solve a problem for someone else.
Yeah.
Whereas as an artist, you have an urge to create, independent of the problem. Can I get a bit black and white? But
Can commissioned art then be art? Because it's on demand.
it depends on what you ask for. If you ask for something very specific, then it's maybe not art.
I do agree with that. I think on the one hand you have creativity where you just make something because you want to make something, you feel the urge to create. And on the other hand you have creativity where you use your stack of knowledge to solve a problem, which is being creative with your skills. But I think it's impossible to make something out of nothing because you're always leaning on language, other art. If I wouldn't lean on the previous generations of humans, I would be nothing. So it's impossible to create something from nothing, I think.
I'd like to add something to this because if you want to create something new, how do you know that it's even new without knowing what's already there?
Yeah, novelty I think is indeed not so important for the definition of art in my case at least. I would say art is maybe self-fulfillment if you use Maslow's pyramid, whereas you can also have creative problem solving for problems where you maybe set out a very basic need where you find a creative solution. So art can be creating something for self-fulfillment does not have to be new, and it's then still art.
Maybe it's
Yeah, that develops from what I hear. Some of it already was discussed, but I want to go into the art part. I think you should discouple art from creativity in that sense that art is just a very small fraction of expression of creativity. Art can be one of the ways to express it, but any everyday, if you look at things in a way that nobody else has done before, so if you have an existing problem where hundreds of thousands of people say, we do it that way because we always did it that way. The creative person will say, well, why not challenge that? Why can't we solve that in another way? That's creativity. My son, he used to say when he was very small, I'm not a creative person. And I became fatherly angry with him and saying, everybody is creative. He's a colleague of yours because he also studies electrical engineering now.
Right.
But it's very important to know that everybody is creative. Some of them are artists, but there are so many creative people. The way you stand in the world and that you solve problems and that you wish to solve problems is part of that expression of creativity.
Thank you.
And agreed. Thank you. I used to think in the same manner, I think. As in, for example, my mom and my sister, they're both really good at drawing, and I'm definitely not good at drawing. So I would think, no, I'm not a creative person. But then coming up with solutions to things, joining Team Ignite and seeing what you can actually do. Yeah, agreed. Thanks.
Absolutely. Any other thoughts? All right.
The second one?
All right. So this is maybe a bit controversial, listening to your expressions. Is creativity the bridge between art and technology? So what we talked about in the beginning of this presentation, we see Eindhoven as a really innovative and high-tech region, but there's also a lot of designers and artists here. And some of those designers and artists are using technology. Some of those high-tech companies may use creativity and art, but not necessarily. So would there be, maybe if to rephrase this, would there be a need for creativity and art in technology, and then how would you bridge that gap that is out there? Yeah, so the question is there a need to bridge the gap between art and technology? Let's say it that way.
I would challenge the view that there is a gap between art and technology. Often I can see an aesthetic premise in technology. For example, just a month ago there was part of an exhibition here that displayed the beauty in a specific type of glass or the coating. And they made art of the technology. I don't think there needs to be a bridge. I think you make an artificial gap.
Okay, that's a great answer.
Doesn't any art that involves interaction with an object involve technology?
Totally agree.
If you think, maybe not, but the moment you manipulate matter, it's technology.
That's technology. Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking of then, why do we then focus on, so let's say high tech, why do they focus on creating just a solution and just the technology? And we have sort of an answer for that. But why we identified a gap between high-tech companies and their use of creativity. And yeah, you could say we're just focusing on innovating on this really specific type of technology, but they're not outputting that in a creative way. It's just, this is the solution, go ahead. We're asking you, why could that be, and could there be a need to change that? Could creativity be an answer to innovate faster? Possibly yes.
I mean, I think you need creativity for innovation. So
Okay. So we're running back to the different kinds of creativity.
Yeah. I can actually add on this question because we were discussing before. Like, I think creativity is there in both art and tech. But I'm not sure if it's exactly the bridge between the both. But I mean, my view is that as the saying like these days, I mean, tech is required to make art, like let's say whether it be digital art or maybe like glass blowing or something like let's say metal shaping, forming. So there the technology is involved in art and there is a process of creativity which goes on. But I think the boundaries are a bit blurred over here rather than saying like creativity is the bridge. I think like it's yeah.
All right. I saw another hand in the back.
Yeah, I was just distracted now by the text there.
Oh, nice.
Let's see, what was I thinking? Creativity, bridge between art and technology. I think creativity is actually, the overspanning medium where art is an expression from it and technology is an expression. Creativity is all around that, and it would be good if technology and art would interact because that could generate even more innovative and creative solutions, but not necessarily because you need art to do it, but they both look at things, can look at things in a different way. One simple example is a friend of mine who is a very good designer, and I am a little bit less designer. But I used to be very software focused, and I would know from a graphics program, I would know every function. And he saw me do things, and he said, "Oh wait, if you do this," I said, "No, that's completely wrong because it goes all over the place." Yeah, that's what I want. And there were things coming out of that, results coming out of that were visually very interesting. I did not make that switch at that time because I was very function driven, like, okay, this function morphs a square into a circle. And you have to do this point to that point, and it will morph very nicely. But if you cross these points, it will go all over the place. And that's something that I did not switch at that time. But my more creative friend at that time said, no, that's what I want. It can be a mirror. An artist can show a technology-driven guy a creative mirror. Like, look, you can look at it this way, and the other way around as well. People from art could do things, and technology could say, well, if we can do this with it, or you could do this, and the artist, it would be a very nice interaction. But creativity is the stuff that binds them both.
All right, thank you. Any people that recognize this situation or have been in it?
I specifically do as well. I really like the way you said it, because I think it's really nice to actually combine people that think in different ways in such a manner. You also said that someone is more creative. Depends on what side, of course, as on what topic. The more like towards the art side, perhaps, and then indeed combine it with technology. So think of different ways to implement things. Think of different ways to actually come up with solutions, because you might have 10,000 options to figure out some problems, but that's only in one area. And sometimes you need someone else to tell you, hey, maybe you have to shift it or look somewhere else. So combining that, exploring that, doing that within our theme, I really like that. So.
So art is actually the driving technology today far more than we might think. So IT technology is mostly driven by the entertainment industry, and not by...
Good point. Good point.
So this is maybe not so obvious, but there's finally art driving even what people call today high-tech.
True. Right.
That's actually, for me, that's a different way of thinking, and thank you for that as well, indeed. Because I was thinking you can implement art in how to solve things, but this is more like when you want to make art with technology, you have to come up with new technology, which also creates that. If that's a difference for you, but yeah. Cool. Maybe time to finish up and continue with drinks, or?
If you want.
Sounds like you'd like to.
Thanks.
Thank you both so much for this presentation and also for preparing and moderating a few questions.
Thanks.
Feels very apt to this this event, and really fits well with where we are as well. If we want to carry on talking about creativity and what it can do for innovation and technology, I warmly invite everyone to the bar for drinks. We'll provide some snacks. I heard we have la trappe, cheese balls, and regular bitterballen that we can provide. You're also welcome to stay for the meetup table, which we offer for all visitors of the Innovation Café. That's a shared dinner for €19.50. Everybody's invited. I will come and ask you later. Remember, we're here every single Thursday. Next week we have Christina Naan here talking about how she uses natural materials in 3D printing, and check out the program on our website ehvinnovationcafe.org for the upcoming weeks after that. But first, enjoy your evening.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Hey, you're still here. So you like the video. If you want, subscribe and click the bell.